Hello and welcome to another Purveyor of Light Photoshop Quick Tip. Today we've got a fun little project. Today I'm going to show you how to take a photo like this, or actually any photo for that matter, and turn it into a tile photo mosaic. Okay, we've all seen those kind of pictures before where, hundreds of images actually create the larger image that we look at. So this is the image we're going to start with, and then you're going to need to do this project. You're going to need to do a little bit of prep work. Select 100 of your photos you'd like to tile as a mosaic into this image. So I've already made a folder on my desktop, and I called it Mosaic. How original. And I've got 100 images. These are just random images, no rhyme or reason about it. But I picked 100 images that I'm going to tile and make the photo mosaic with. So once you've done that step, you've made a folder, you put 100 of your favorite selected photos, and now we're going to go ahead and start building this photo mosaic together. And it's not that hard. It's a little bit tedious at first, but it's actually very, very easy to do. So I'll try to not make this too boring to you on the technical parts, but we'll get through it together. All right. So first thing I need to do is I made that folder with 100. I need to do something with those photos and get them into Photoshop. So I'm going to go up to File, okay, and Automate, all right, and then Contact Sheet 2, okay. So that's File, Automate, Contact Sheet 2, and select it. And now you're going to choose your folder that you have your 100 photos in, and I have my mosaic folder already selected, and so I'm going to hit OK. And I'm not going to include any subfolders, and you need to type into these dimensions here for the document. You're going to make sure you're on inches, and you're going to put 12 for the width and 8 for the height, resolution of 150 pixels per inch, and I recommend you uncheck flatten all layers. Okay, that's kind of important because we don't want the contact sheet fixed so that we can't make adjustments. So if we check this, we can't make adjustments to the contact sheet, but we want to make adjustments for it. So uncheck that. 8-bit's fine. Down on the thumbnail area, we're going to be first placing the thumbnails across, and then we're going to be doing 10 columns by 10 rows. 10 by 10 times 10, 100. That's why we have 100 images in a folder. Auto spacing is turned off, and zero and vertical thing, because we want everything to be tiled seamlessly together on the contact sheet. Okay, you're going to make sure that your file name is unchecked because we don't want to have file names showing up on the mosaic. So turn that off. And then once you have all these settings put into place, okay, we're just going to simply hit OK. And Photoshop is now going to churn, and you see it's making layers here like mad. It's going to make 100 layers and put clipping masks and everything else like this on each layer to make the contact sheet so that we can turn it into a mosaic. So I'm not going to sit here and have you watch this. I'll probably stop the video and then pick it up when it starts and finishes. Okay, now that that's done, depending on the speed of your computer and how big your pictures were, it could take several minutes to have this accomplished. In my case, it took about 2 minutes to finish all the 100 layers. Okay, so now you see we have a tiled thing, and you'll notice that one of the first things is that a lot of the images don't quite fill the frame. Like if you take this tiger thing here, you can see it's got white on each side, and we don't want that. And that's because, every picture that we have may not necessarily be the same dimensions. So that's why we unchecked that setting to not to flatten the layers. So we have these things here. Now, if you look over in your layers panel, you'll go, oh my God, I've got, you're going to have over 100 layers. Okay. And it's going to be the image in the first tile. Okay. And then the mask to the right of it. And everyone is going to have their own individual mask. And that marks off, if you notice, it marks off where that picture resides in the mosaic. Okay? And you'll also notice that there's a little clip, paper clip between to link the image to the mask so that they move in harmony. Okay? And that's very important for what we're going to do. So now what we got to do is we got to do some, cleanup here. And we're going to go in and we're going to select our move tool. Okay, so we do that. And then I want you to hit a setting you probably never even saw, but right up here on the bar, it says auto select. Okay, that's very important to what we're going to be doing. Okay, I want you to check that. Okay, and now what that enables us to do, okay, is to be able to just look with our eyes and say, which photo do we want to work with? Now you see I'm selected on a layer, and if I click on a photo with auto select, it changes. It automatically selected the layer. If I hit this one, it changes that layer. If I do that, it changes to this layer. See, it auto selects whatever picture I click on. All right, that makes your life a lot easier than to try to figure out where 100 photos are tiled, which one to work on. So I'm going to take this first one here, and I'm going to click on the tigers, and I want to size it up so it fits the frame that it's in. And that's very easy to do, okay? And I'm going to hit Command or Control T. And you'll notice we got the bounding boxes around the picture. All we want to do is we want to turn around and resize the photo, okay? So I'm just going to go ahead and grab a corner, and I'm going to resize it to fit. Okay? And then when I'm happy that I have filled it, I'm going to hit Enter. And now that one has been done. Okay. Now, very important, if you're going to move a photo around, okay, you may want to turn around and unlink it. So let's take this air turbines here, and I'm on that layer. I want to remove this around a little bit. So I'm going to uncheck the little paper clip between the layer and the mask. So I'm going to do that. That unlinks so that I can move the picture independently of the mask. Okay? So now that I'm on that, Command or Control T. And now I can move and position this photo around. See, I can drag it around within the container however I wish. And then when I'm happy with the position, I just simply hit Enter to command to fit the frame. And I do this for each thing. Again, with auto select on. Okay, I can go in and do any layer. That was a mistake on my part here. I somehow selected the text tool, so I accidentally had fat fingers on the keyboard. All right, so I select the layer that I'm working on, and Command or Control T, and again, grabbing a corner, I do this till I fit the frame. Okay? And I just continue to do this. And if I'm moving a picture around, always remember to uncheck the paperclip. That enables me to move the photo without affecting the frame. So now I have the paperclip disabled. You can see I can drag without affecting the photo and hit enter. And I'm going to do this for any photos that need touch-up. So I'm not going to make you sit here and watch me do 100 photos to frame into. So I'm going to go ahead and just fast forward here. And when I'm done, I'll bring back. Okay. So now that I have adjusted all my photos so that there's no gaps or anything in between, I had to do about maybe 25 photos to resize them so they fit the frame good. But other than that, it wasn't too bad. All right, so the last thing you're going to notice here is on the right side of the image, we have a white border, okay? And we need to get rid of that. So we need to turn around and get rid of that, and we're going to do that by simply cropping. So what I need you to do is I need you to go to your selection tool, and I want you to draw a rectangular selection over the image here. And then I want you to stop just short of that whiteboard. Okay, so I have that. And then I'm going to go up to image, and I'm going to select cropped. And Photoshop doing the thing, and there you go. Okay, so now we've gotten rid of that white border. You still have the selection, so you hit Command or Control D to deselect. And we have this now ready to go. And I recommend maybe you save it, since it was a lot of work adjusting all those photos. Okay, so that takes care of us with our tile mosaic. And now we move on to the next step. Okay, so now we need to define this as a pattern, okay, so that we can overlay this tile of mosaics over our original image. So to do that, we're going to go to Edit and then Define Pattern. And select that. You can name it whatever you wish, okay? I'll just name it here Pattern 2. How's that for original? And there we go. So now we have that as our pattern. Now we're going to go back to our original image, okay? Because this is the image we selected to do our tile mosaic onto. And now we're going to go down to our adjustment panel here, and we're going to do an adjustment, and we're going to select pattern. Okay, now depending on what state your Photoshop is, you may have to click this to select it. See the little down arrow here? Just pull down and you'll see your tile mosaics that you just saved down below. Okay, so just select that, and there is our tile. Now you can set the scale and the adjustment to whatever you wish. Okay, how big or small you want to have the tiles. Okay, that's entirely up to you. Maybe I'll do 30%, or maybe 40%. It depends on what size tile you want to have with the appearances. I'm going to go with the 40%. And okay, so now that we have our pattern on, we are going to change the blend mode from normal to overlay. And there we go. We have our mosaic, you can come in and see that the mosaic has been built. Now, if you find, like in such a hair area here, that the mosaics are being lost, and it depends on what image you have, you can bring in an adjustment layer, and you can change the opacities to what you wish. Okay. And this is where your computer may slow down or may not slow down. I'm getting a beach ball here. I'm going to stop the video until it stops beach balling on me. Okay, my computer stopped having a nervous breakdown, so the beach ball went away eventually. So now we got to go in and make adjustments, because like we were saying here in the hair, because she had black hair, that we're losing the mosaics and we can't see them very well in here. So what we're going to do is we're going to select the background image, and we're going to pull in here and convert to a smart object. Okay. That's just so that we can come back and make adjustments over and over again without losing all our work. All right, so now that we have made this a smart object, we are going to go into Image, and then we're going to go down to Adjustments, okay? And we are going to then go into the little used shadows and highlights. And you'll notice that it automatically started to lighten things. I want to say show more options. And that's going to open up the dialog box. Now, this is where you come in and you play what you like. Okay? You can pull the sliders and say, okay, does that look the way you want it? Does the tone, right? And you just play with your settings until you like the cosmetic effect. Okay? You work with shadows, and you can really boost them up if you wish, so that the mosaics are seen very well. Okay. The tone, whether you want to lighten or darken there. And when you're happy with it, then you hit OK. And that enables us to see the mosaics much, much better. And again, you can always come in and do adjustments. You can come back in and do the pattern fill, right? We didn't like the 40. Maybe we want to have it 50. Maybe we like them a little bit bigger, and we can change it. So there we go. We got, okay, that looks good. Or maybe I don't like that still. Maybe I want it 70%. I want bigger mosaics. And so I can change the entire look. Okay. I'm going to change the entire look of the mosaic. And it's a creative process. So there's nothing here I can tell you, say, oh, this is the absolute right way to do that. These are the settings. Your pictures are going to be individual. Okay. And so you adjust it to what aesthetically is pleasing. But there you go. Now we have created a one-of-a-kind tile mosaic using your own photos. And I think it came out pretty good, considering I just didn't even take any time. I just grabbed 100 photos at random. You'll be much more studious in your selection, and maybe even go with a theme. And there you go. And again, because we made it a smart object, you can make adjustments. Just go back to the shadows and highlights, and you can reopen it, and you can make adjustments if you don't like the effect. Okay, and again, because we're non-destructive, we can come in and make adjustments to what we're looking at and what we're doing. Okay? So hopefully you found this useful. Hopefully you'll be encouraged here to grab some of your photos and do a quick tile mosaic. The most tedious part is like when you make the tile and you have to resize a few photos that are different sizes. Other than that, it's a very easy process to do, and you'll get some really cool things. And I hope you try it. And until next week, you guys take care.